how's it going? Welcome back to the channel, and I'm talking about a movie that I really wanted to talk about for a while, even though it's not tokusatsu related, but I think it is one of my favorite movies of all time, and that is 2008's Speed Racer. And I recently rewatched it. I already want to rewatch it again, but this movie is so good. I want to gush about it. But there has been plenty of videos now that have talked about how good this movie is, how it's a cult classic and all that, and how, god damn it, I need that Criterion release right now. Come on, Criterion, pick up the rights. I mean, you could get King Kong versus Godzilla, the Japanese version on, a physical release. Why can't you get Speed Racer a new Blu-ray? Please. Please, I don't want to buy third hand, where it's probably so freaking expensive right now. And also, I would like a re-release in theaters. I'm not asking for too much. Okay, jokes aside, there is an aspect of Speed Racer that I want to talk about that I don't think a lot of people have discussed. And no, it's not about capitalism. Okay, it might be a little bit about capitalism. But I think about how this movie sort of is a reflection of what, a little bit of the neurodivergent experience. Now, neurodivergency, if you don't know, is talking about people with ADHD, autism, and people who don't have those are called neurotypicals. And that's a generalization. Of course, there's a spectrum of people on the neurodivergency. It's, a spectrum, just like autism is a spectrum, which, hey, I'm an autist. Who knew? You probably all did, because if I wasn't, I wouldn't be gushing about Tokusatsu and Speed Racer on this channel. But anyways, people have described Speed in this movie about, him having ADHD, mostly in a joking way, and then those who don't really want to delve into Speed's character call him stupid, which, hey, that's pretty reflective of being neurodivergent. Other people thinking you're stupid. Yay. But yeah, it's just one of those, like, the thing about Speed, the thing that maybe some of us neurodivergent, people latch onto Speed like we do in the movie. Speed in the movie specifically, not Speed as an overall character in the anime and whatnot. I haven't watched the anime in a long time, so I can't really speak on that. But in the movie, I think why some of us do latch onto Speed, or at least why I latch onto Speed, is that Speed is not an idiot, as unlike CinemaSins or Honest Trailers would lead you to believe, with their mocking humor and whatnot. But instead, Speed is just hyper focused on racing and what it does. Because the thing is, this movie shows how intellectual Speed is when it comes to racing. Yeah, he doesn't, do his tests, but, and other kids mock him and whatnot. And he doesn't really care about, say, like, the world around him. He cares about racing, but again, because he just, did all go Rex go on his tests instead of actually doing the questions, that doesn't make him stupid. He's hyper focused and can't focus on anything else but racing. Racing is his life. It's in his blood. That's his special interest, his hyper fixation. If you're not neurodivergent, you won't know this, but for us neurodivergent people, when we get latched on, when we hyperfixate on something, we can't think of anything else but that hyperfixation. We gotta delve right deep into it. But yeah, so there's that aspect, it's just, people, and of course, Speed, just having attention deficiency, does a bit of stimming, in the classroom, and also, like, before the race, like, he is, bobbing his foot up and down, what I'm doing right now, sort of a stem. That's what we do. And then, of course, he gets called the R word, so, that's definitely neurodivergent experience. But anyway, I could gush, talk about why Speed is neurodivergent and whatnot. But I think what I want to take away from this film is just to show, like, what I think the movie shows. And even though this might not be the Wachowskis' intention, whatnot, because when this movie came out, neurodivergency was still not that well known in the grand, general audience. It's not as well known as it is today. But what I want to talk about is sort of this power neurodivergent people have that neurotypical people don't, in a way, where it shows, it's just, let me explain. Throughout the races that Speed encounters, yeah, he's the fastest, he's, does great, but something that he does in those races is that he thinks out of the box. He pulls moves that most other racers wouldn't think to ever pull. And again, yeah, we're talking about cartoonish Carfu races, so obviously logic of normal races goes out the window, but the races in here, he pulls off some moves that is just like racers aren't gonna, like, other racers aren't gonna really think about it. Like, he goes off track purposely to get ahead. I think of the race, I'm forgetting the name, but it's after the ice cave and whatnot, and he has to catch up. So what he does, he uses jumpers on the Mach 5, to flip from the track that's on top to the bottom of the hill where the track is to get ahead. That's a crazy move. And what I'm talking about though is this out of the box thinking that neurodivergent people have, this new perspective, this different perspective that we have than neurotypical folks have in this neurotypical society, gives us a little bit of edge. It's also a curse. It's also a curse in a way that neurotypicals won't understand us. They reject us in many ways, but it's a power in a way, and I think it's shown in the grand finale or the Grand Prix race, is that Speed is the wild card, and for us neurodivergent people, we're the wild cards of the neurotypical, because neurotypicals, as much as we can't understand how neurotypical people think, neurotypical people can't fully understand how neurodivergent people think. We can try, but our brains are differently wired. But because we live in a neurotypical society and not a neurodivergent society, we're the wild cards. We're the ones that neurotypicals want us out of society, or they want to control us. And they either want us to be controlled or just out of society. Like in school, I was definitely a social outcast, so I know what it is to be like an outcast, at least in a social environment. But again, we pull off these crazy things. Us innovators, we innovate. We do things that neurotypical people don't understand. And there have been many historical figures that have changed the world that are neurodivergent, or at least speculated to be neurodivergent. And granted, positive, sometimes not always positive, but there is just a lot of positive cases. When it comes to like movies, Dan Aykroyd is an example, and he changed the world with his passion for ghosts, and Ghostbusters is a big phenomenon. Like, people might, disregard Ghostbusters nowadays as sort of just 80s nostalgia, but you gotta think Ghostbusters it changed a lot of things. It was innovating. It was groundbreaking, and Speed in the movie, he's a wild card. And like his mother says, when he's racing, it's like watching an artist paint art. And he changes the world you know, for just being so hyper focused on racing, being so for his passion in racing, and just being that neurodivergent person that I love. And yeah, I just want to think, I just think that this movie shows the power that neurodivergent people have. And if you're neurodivergent, don't don't cut yourself short. I know life can suck for us. I know, because the thing is, we live in a society that is not catered to us, that doesn't really, there are people that want to help us and want to make things accessible, but society as a whole doesn't make things all that accessible to us. They don't really care to include us neurodivergent people, and that can be discouraging. But I think this movie is very empowering, and it shows just that we can do things that neurotypicals can't do, that normal people, don't think of. And we can change the world by just being ourselves, by pursuing our passion, pursuing our hyperfixation, and just showing the world that we can do some amazing stuff. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say for this video. And if there's anything to take away from this video, honestly, if you don't really agree with my ramblings, fine. But just go watch Speed Racer, please. It's a great movie. It's one of my favorites. And I'm still waiting for that Criterion release. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Subscribe to the channel, all that other YouTube stuff that helps in the algorithm. And hey, you know what? Let me know in the comments what you think of the movie, or if you're neurodivergent, what your thoughts on the movie especially. I really want to hear other neurodivergent people's thoughts on this movie, and if they either agree or disagree with my take. But anyway, with that said, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day. Take care and shwatch.